Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We're here for Friday Coffee Talks, episode 93. I'm your host, Connor Volpe, and we're talking over coffee on Friday. I'm glad you're back. Let me just start off by saying I know last week I mentioned that this was going to be a Christmas movie episode. I, like many of you, have a demanding job. The schedule does not get any easier around Christmas time. I think my headset is, wherever it's sitting, I don't even know, is still smoking from the week because I don't think I put it down. I abused that sucker this week. I don't think I was off the phone for more than 10 minutes at a time. But so I don't have the Christmas movie episode today. I'm going to talk about something else, but come back next week. It will be the Christmas movie episode. I promise. I'm just going to build suspense. You're going to have to wait one more week for it. I've got a nice cup of tea tonight, actually. Oh, it's good and hot. Very hot. And I use the kettle. So for my British friends, you're welcome. I did it. I want to talk about last weekend because it is one for me that will go down in the history books as an all-time great in the days of Connor Volpe. I had an absolute blast. Those of you who know me know that when I get into something, when I set my mind to something, I tend to obsess is probably a good word over it. I just get so locked in and I think through all these details and all these, nuances, and I have mental pictures. I can see what I want to happen and how I'm going to do it. And so I start to build that in my head of this and this, and this is the step, and I need to get this, and I need to work on that, and it's going to take this long. And then it always ends up taking longer. And that was, for me, over the last probably couple of months at least, if not longer, has been the Piggy Jo's float in the Buford Christmas Parade. We decided over the summer that we were going to participate in the Buford Christmas Parade. If you're not from around here, Buford is the small town in Georgia where our children's boutique is, called Piggy Jo's. And Buford is a wonderful little small town. It's not even that small. It's growing quite rapidly, but they have this great Main Street area. They have awesome restaurants and shops, and the people are wonderful. And they do a Christmas parade right down Main Street. So if you're from the area, from Tannery Row down to the end of Main Street, down at the church there, and it's a big thing, and a lot of people come out, and we decided that we were going to participate this year, and so my wheels started turning of what's the Piggy Jo's float going to look like, and so there's a little what am I saying? There's a children's book series out called The Little Blue Truck, and our kids love it. It's a big hit at the store. It's one of our top sellers, and funny enough, I happen to drive a blue truck. I have a blue Toyota Tacoma that we call NOLA. And so we decided that Piggy Jo's float this year was going to be Little Blue Truck at the Christmas Tree Farm. And so I set out to design it and build it. And I spent, evenings and weekends over the last few months dreaming it up, building it, preparing it. And I think it just turned out amazing. So let me show you some pictures. This is what the float turned out. So we've got my truck. We got some logo magnets added to it. We got the wreath on the front. And then in my trailer, I converted my trailer to look like a Christmas tree farm. So we've got the fence around the outside. We've got the Christmas trees on the inside. We've got fake snow covering the bottom. We've got lights all wrapped around. And then the candy cane poles holding up the twinkle lights to go around the top, just like they do at Christmas tree farms. So we had my wife and my kids rode on the back of the float and threw out candy. We had some of our really good friends, Emma and Alex, and their kids join us on the float. And it delivered. It fully delivered. I can't tell you how anxious and nervous I was showing up that morning, pulling into the big parking lot to get staged. And the way I designed the float is I had the light poles, the candy cane poles were too tall to fit in the garage. And so I had to do a lot of assembly on the on the poles. And the sign on the back was just a passion project of mine. I drew that. We put it up on a projector. I cut it out of plywood. We hand painted the logo. Me and Mandy and our team did a wonderful job to get that all done. So that was hand painted. And so I had to assemble a lot of stuff to get it ready. So I'm sitting in their parking lot and I'm sweating and I'm thinking, what if this doesn't work? And what if this isn't going to do like I think it was? And everything came together. Everything worked exactly how I had pictured it up in the old noggin. And we just had the best time just going down Main Street and waving at all the people. The rain held off miraculously. And so just to have my family in the float that I designed with our store represented in our community, it was it was just so fun. And I'm already looking forward to next year. I've got a lot of ideas about how I can do it better, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So add float designer to my resume. It's on there. But then on Sunday, we had another parade. It was a weekend of parades. So, in addition to Piggy Jo's, my wife is the executive director at a children's museum in Gainesville, Georgia called Interactive Neighborhood for Kids, or INC. And they've done the Christmas parade in Gainesville for a number of years. And we've ridden on that float every year, and it's been amazing. Normally, they build out the blue ink Santa's sleigh, and we ride on that, and it's super fun. But this year, they mixed things up a little bit. They brought the ink train out and put it on a car hauler, and that was the float this year. So it looked spectacular. But for my role in that is a little different. So let me take you back a little bit. Let me have some tea. So I was not driving that float. My family was riding again and throwing candy. But I was in the mascot suit. So a couple years ago, I was at Inc. We had a big event, and they have up at the front of Inc. at the front of the museum, they have a turtle, and she sits there at the front, and she's the mascot for the museum, and her name is Squirt. And so a few years ago, they bought a turtle mascot costume, and so they needed somebody to be in the Squirt costume for this. I forget. I guess it was Halloween, maybe, whatever it was for this event. They needed somebody to be in it, and my everyday inclination, my mission from the time I wake up until I go to sleep every day is to avoid being embarrassed. There's nothing worse that I can think of in the world than being embarrassed. Even now, like I think about, somebody looking at me wrong or thinking I got something wrong, and it just like paralyzes me. I cannot function. I just can't stand being embarrassed. But there's something about that mascot head that the moment I put it on, I am invincible. I can do anything. I can look like an idiot. I can dance. I can stand on my head. I can be audacious. I can be bold. I can do whatever I want to in this mascot suit. I'm telling y'all, like, it sounds silly, but it is a game changer. It completely changes my outlook on things. Just to have my identity hidden under a daggum fuzzy turtle head. It's a game changer. And let me show you this clip from my very first time in the Squirt suit. Who's that guy? Who's that guy hamming it up with all the kids, getting the laughs? It was wild. And so, every time we go up to the museum, it's one of those things of, be walking around and the kids will be playing and there's nothing really going on, but Mandy will kind of like nudge me and go, "Hey, do you want to go entertain some kids?" And I'm like, "Yes." And I'll just run into the closet and throw the suit on real quick and just go have a ball. And so I'm Squirt when I'm at the museum, but also for the Christmas parade every year, I'm Squirt on the parade. And I've gotten to a point now where I go big in the parade. I am just losing my mind, being ridiculous. The whole area of the stage floats, like as we're getting ready to go, I'm running up and down. I'm jumping on floats with people. There was one this year that they had a bed on their float for some reason, and so I just hopped in the bed. I climbed in, snuggled in, put my little turtle head on the pillow, and they were taking pictures with me. I was climbing into cars with people that I'd never met. Just having a blast, giving the Coke Bear a hug, having a duel with Santa, pretending to cross streams with the Ghostbusters, just being ridiculous. And then once the parade starts, I kick it up 50 notches. I'm running up and down the street. I'm hyping up the crowd. I'm dancing. I'm getting in cameras' faces. And I am pouring sweat underneath, but it just like fills me up. It's so fun. So, I mean, as a 34-year-old man, I never would have thought that I would have found a new hobby and passion of being a mascot, but here I am. I love it. And I got to do that again for the third or fourth time in the Green Street Parade in Gainesville, Georgia last weekend. By the end of it, I was exhausted. I was pouring sweat. I would soak through all the clothes that I was wearing underneath. The suit needs a good dry cleaning, but I hope it brought a little magic to the kids. I was handing out candy. I was hugging babies, taking selfies along the parade route. I was lounging on the back of our float, hopping on and off. It was so fun. So it was a weekend of parades for me, and it was fantastic. So thank you all for joining me. I've got a great episode on my top 5, top 4, my Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies. I can guarantee you right now, you will not agree with my list, and that's one of the best things about Christmas movies. So don't miss it. Check me next week for Christmas movies on Friday Coffee Talks. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next week.